Okay.
Because I think that's what we need, and that in practical terms, that's what we're gonna be using. And they're pretty light, so that looks like that's all keepers, and we've ruled out some stuff, so that's good. I guess you don't need that.
Yep. Nope.
What do you call the last
meal
before you?
So I choose rösti.
We're just kind of going with a scenario where we have significant weather delays.
Then we should try to do S6 and S6 drop and get dropped at S5.
So Saturday we get here and we set up camp.
Mm-hmm.
So the ambitious scenario we put in here.
Yeah.
Do you know the area here? Would it also be possible to camp down?
Yeah, something like this.
Okay.
But the satellite image makes it look really flat, but it's
It
not.
isn't.
This is like two maybe 300 meters of a. Yeah, this is the final preps. I'm writing down the coordinates just to hand them to the pilot. This is where we come off the ice, and we want to circle this because actually this glacier is retreating. We don't know if we can get through this narrow gap here. So we're going to check that out on our way in.
How you feeling? Got everything?
I hope so.
What do you think about the weather?
Yeah, it will be quite stormy. It will be hard work.
There they go. You think we got everything?
I remember that we forgot the onions, but I don't care.
Yes. But we don't care, we need it in 8 days.
Box here. I'll leave here.
Joe. Joe.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. You know, I just wanted to do this snow survey and it's turned into a full expedition. I underestimated how much effort it was going to take to get here, but we did it. And it's thanks to also a team of people that got this going, lots of logistics. We're working in a new part of Greenland, haven't been here before, but it's all about making friends with people here. We're making that happen, and they've also made it possible. All right, we're traveling with Matthias and Mauro from Switzerland. I'm from Colorado, and Cameron's from Illinois, and we're going to the Greenland ice sheet. It's gonna be fantastic. So Mauro, you're on this side.
Sitting?
Yeah, and the three of us are on the other side.
Good.
but we are about 100 meters away from it. Every time I move the helicopter, we release a lot of amount of snow.
I think that's a hole. Yeah, I think it stops there. You say it's this direction?
130 meters there. Was 82 the length?
Yes.
What's that length?
Now we can relax a little bit.
Where are the chairs?
Now that the time pressure is a bit off, I'm looking forward to getting multiple snow cores at this location so we can peg just how much snow is nourishing the Greenland ice sheet. A lot of attention is placed on the melting, but what about the other side of the budget, the inputs? That's what we're here to measure. What's putting ice onto Greenland? Whew. That was hard work, getting 2 cores, 1 snow pit at this location. We got core up there. It took twice as long as we thought. So the problem here was it's too warm. The snow, it was freezing onto the core and the pieces were sticking in. So we want to core when it's colder. Get corrected from behind.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then of course you can just aim. We're going straight toward the sun and there's hardly any horizon definition.
Keep going. Stop, stop.
So Greenland is important because of its size. It's 3 times the area of Texas. It's 90% ice covered, and the melt rates on this world's largest island have doubled in the last 50 years. And so it becomes one of the ground zeros of climate change. It's really just a very good indicator of climate change. It has impacts on sea level rise, but by measuring the basic climate variables here, we already understand quite a lot that this massive ice mass is reacting. It was like a sleeping giant, but now that's waking up, and we're concerned that that sleeping giant, it's like it has a hangover and feels grumpy and is going to do some damage. That's what climate heating is doing to places like this. It's disrupting what was a very stable climate that we've had the last few thousand years that's allowed civilization to develop. We are destabilizing climate just like we're destabilizing these ice masses, and that's going to create lots of problems for our kids and their kids. And we're at a moment now where we realize that we can really do something about it. So it's time to act. It's time to stop emitting carbon dioxide from fossil fuel burning. That means we need to make a fast transition to clean energy. And the benefits are huge. We can have prosperity. We can have clean air and water. We don't need oil spills. They don't have to happen. We just need, as a species, to choose those technologies which don't confound the future.
breakfast
for you.
breakfast delivered on the glacier.
Yeah,
Huh?
let's just slam this. You know, so far for breakfast I've had, you know, a candy bar and some coffee, and it's been great. We are operating 20 of these climate stations. This one's kind of buried. It's actually much taller than I am, but that gives you a sense of how much snow has accumulated here. And as the snow melts down, because this is the beginning of the melt season, this guy is going to record that. We're going to get hard numbers on melt. When the helicopter left us, I was just relieved because I knew that we could then just rely on our own selves and not have that time pressure, and you know, take the time that we need to get our measurements done. Because at the first site, helicopters waiting, time pressure, we're rushing. It's not enjoyable at all, and then you don't get good quality. The mass of snow here, that's the purpose of this ski traverse trip. We're starting high on the ice cap, and we're skiing down, and every 5 kilometers we're snow coring, measuring how much snow is lying on this ice sheet at the beginning of the melt season. When there's a lot of snow, it slows down the melt, and this happens to be a big snow year. It's important to understand how much snow there is, because that's the other side of the equation. There's melt on one side, and then there's snowfall on this side. And those would balance in a climate that was stable. But because the climate is heating, the melting is increasing, and the amount of snowfall needed to balance that just isn't enough. Even though snowfall is increasing with climate change, because there's a more humid atmosphere. So we have these two things going on where these measurements give us the melt, and we have to come here and drill snow cores, and it's just about weighing, like what's the weight of this snow. We convert that into water. That's the other side of the equation.
Next 10. Then the next 12.
Sorry, around 1 meter, not a lot more. So, hi Sina, it's Jason calling from CASU. We are having a good time proceeding with our traverse, and wondering if you're getting the SMS that I'm sending. I will try back later. Have a good day. Bye. And because today is Earth Day, the 22nd of April 2017, it seems to have, it's more meaningful for us to recognize that we're in nature here, and having a purpose to measure climate change. Reminded of the importance of that as scientists march today globally, this global march for science. Our ski traverse has also a kind of a march for science, because we're walking down the ice sheet, and so we've gotten engaged with that political message that science is important, climate change is important. It does matter to get accurate numbers and to understand climate change. This is at a time where, you know, that issue is heavily politicized, and it's simply because fossil energy is still profitable, even though it does damage to our environment and powers our civilization. I mean, we cannot discount the power of fossil energy. But the thing is, the economic externalities of that have grown so much that climate change and ocean acidification and other pollution problems make it very clear now that the age of fossil energy needs to stop. And fortunately, clean energy is coming on that allows us to make that transition to a type of economy and a type of energy system that doesn't compromise the future. You know, we have to put the emphasis on getting the best quality measurements we can, and the solution to that is just go camping and go skiing and just walk, you know, like between the sites. It takes hours and hours, but you get there and then you've got quality time, can get good data, and no time pressure. It took some years to figure that out, but if we subtract the helicopter, we can just you know, take our time and get good measurements. I would say the scientists have done their job. They have delivered these thick reports that show in many independent ways that we have a problem. Now it's time for us to make a transition. And the good news is there's going to be lots of benefits from that to society. We just found stake number 4, and it's only like this high above the surface, you know, it's like, ooh. I'm a climatologist, and I've turned into a glaciologist, a person that studies snow and ice, because my entry into this world was through skiing. And like many of the people in my field, we started with this love of skiing and mountains and snow, and we found a way to make that into a career. And so now it's all about understanding climate, and in some ways I'm really fortunate that this work has global impact. Because we're faced with this challenge of climate change. And so places like this are important laboratories to understand climate, because it's boiled down to relatively simple physics here. It's the amount of snowfall on one side of the equation, and on the other side it's how much melt there is. Okay guys, I just got off the phone with the Met Office, and the weather outlook is really terrible, okay? We can already see these high clouds coming in. Yeah. By midday we should have light precipitation. That's turning today. That's turning to heavy precipitation 12 hours later, 18 hours later. It's warm. It could be rain mixed with snow.
What's the temperature at the coast?
It'll be above melting at the coast, and then the winds start intensifying. Tomorrow evening, 50 to 60 knots. also potentially with heavy precipitation. We're gonna head to the coast. I talked to the boat, and so we're either gonna meet with the boat tonight or tomorrow morning. So we're just gonna do light science on the way and just get there as soon as possible. Well, because it's that or spending 3 days in a tent, and I think with 50-60 knots and the heavy snow, we could easily collapse the tents. Okay. So it's a very easy decision to do this because we have to emphasize safety.
So lots of skiing?
Yeah.
Be around 15?
Yeah, 15.
Maybe then there we have to use the food supply.
Yeah.
Greenland is key in understanding climate change because right now it's delivering the most to sea level rise than any glaciated place in the world, including Antarctica. It's a place that melts a lot in the summertime. Here we are at just before the melt season begins, and there has been a big accumulation of snow. This happens every winter. That's why we're here, to measure that snowfall. And that's one of the important pieces of this equation, to understand if all of this ice over this, thousands of kilometers, thousands of miles is what it's doing. But in the next 3 months, all of this snow that this climate station here that's currently buried it's going to measure that. That's all going to melt in the next few months. It's causing sea level rise, it's causing disruption of ocean circulation. And so we can learn a lot by coming here, and so it feels like we have an important purpose to do here, and so I feel quite fortunate to be in that role, coming from a background of the mountains and skiing, and then to be able to plug that into science and answer these questions that we have about climate change.
You should also. That's like heaven. If you go like this, you get a lot.
Do we go to the right or to the left of the big hump?
Yeah, we could scout it out. Hi. We're waiting another day because the weather today not good. The captain wants to wait till tomorrow. Thinks it's good weather, and because we finished our trip days early, it's fine with me to relax here. I'm happy to stay. It's a beautiful view. You gotta see this view. I prevent some water from coming in, but I'm now bringing water in on myself. In a little boat, lot of stuff. That's the way to be. La la la.
Is the boat coming today?
It is coming. Imagine. All the icebergs are floating away, opening up the gate for us to leave with all our wet stuff.
Is that hot water? I turn on my light now. Do you see my light? Oh, there he is.
Yes, I can see.
Wow. It's an open boat.
How was the boat ride?
Yeah.
It's cold.
Bit wet. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want a coffee.
Final thoughts.
No. Final thoughts. I'm glad we made it here, and I'm just happy.